What is a cortisol phase and do you really have it? Why does your face grow white even if you don't gain weight? Is cortisol the reason? And how to fix this problem? You are not ugly, you have a cortisol phase, says TikTok. Then it tells you that supplements or some apps can fix your cortisol levels and improve your look, and you can lose weight too. Marvelous, isn't it? But is cortisol to blame here? Cortisol is known as the stress hormone, and this statement suggests that it's bad, but it also helps us survive. In cases of danger and stress, cortisol leads to the blood sugar increase to give you energy to run away from the hypothetical tiger, to speed up blood clotting so that you don't lose a lot of blood when the tiger bites you, to speed up thinking so that you think quickly about where to run and where the tiger won't find you. Without cortisol, we would be sleepy, sluggish, and incapable of doing anything, neither defending ourselves nor thinking quickly. It also protects us from allergies, autoimmune diseases, and inflammation. But in today's world, there are fewer and fewer tigers and more artificial but constant stressors, namely bad news, angry boss, anxious thoughts, and now the fact that our stress makes our blood glucose increase and blood itself thicker is not good for us. In addition, cortisol also increases appetite after stress and rearranges fatty tissue. It burns it in the legs and arms and then puts it into abdominal area. And this is very dangerous, as abdominal fat threatens your health the most. If you want to know more about abdominal fat and check yourself if you are in danger or not, watch this video and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Eventually, a system that had worked for millions of years before failed when faced with a sedentary lifestyle and a shortage of tigers in the city, of course. Cortisol may indeed be to blame for your appetite swings, blood glucose rises, and rapidly expanding waistline. But is it to blame for face puffiness? When cortisol acts on the body over a long period of time, such as with a tumor of the adrenal glands which make cortisol, or tumor of pituitary gland which controls the adrenal glands, the face can become this shape. It increases in width and it's called a moon face. Also, this side effect occurs if a person takes some oral glucocorticoids, that is, synthetic analogs of cortisol. But the cases I'm talking about are pretty rare. It's usually 2-3 cases per year per million of population if we are talking about tumors. It's not a very frequent problem. So if you don't take any oral glucocorticoids and you have no rare tumors, cortisol is unlikely to affect your face. There are far more evident causes. And first of them, alcohol. Alcohol increases the permeability of blood vessels and causes the release of cortisol and adrenaline. Alcohol affects the blood vessels, impairs the exchange between blood and tissue fluid, and dehydrates the body on the one hand, and on the other hand leads to the accumulation of toxic wastes, such as acetaldehyde, which retain water. You've probably noticed that people who drink heavily may not be overweight, but face puffiness is usually present. Even small amounts of alcohol, like half a glass of wine at dinner, can cause this. Moreover, many alcoholic beverages have some additives, sulfates and tannins, which also retain water and affect the blood vessels and affect the heart. There is another problem with alcohol, and it's especially strong in women. You had a glass of wine in the evening, you fell asleep well from that because the wine lowered your blood pressure and inhibited your brain. But when the wine is metabolized after 4 or 5 hours, it will cause a sharp jump in heart rate and blood pressure too. Your blood pressure will rise, blood will rush to your face. You may even wake up in the middle of the night from this. Or you may just sleep very uneasily. The high blood pressure in the blood vessels will cause water to be forced through the vessel into the tissue. And in the morning you will get a strong puffiness, although you had just a little bit of wine in the evening. When you quit drinking, puffiness and redness of the face goes away. In general, it will work better than any most expensive cosmetologist. Smoking. Smoking causes spasm of blood vessels, impairment of microcirculation, which leads to water retention in the body and to a decrease in diuresis, so you have less frequent trips to the toilet. The older we get, the more alcohol and smoking affect us. If in your 20s you drank and smoked all the night and your face was fresh in the morning, in your 40s even a small drink or a cigarette before bed in the morning can cause significant puffiness. And if you smoke and drink regularly, the swelling will be with you almost all the time. And you will really think that it's not just a puffiness, but the constant changes in your face. And of course, you will try to find a reason. And maybe you will see these cortisol detox apps. The next one is lots of salt and sugars in your food. Water is such a tricky thing, you know. It likes to dissolve stuff and goes where there is something to dissolve. Salts, sugars and alcohols dissolve very well in water. Even if you don't eat salted fish or chips or you don't like adding extra salt to your food, a lot of salts and sugars are hidden in ultra-processed foods, such as snacks, sweets, sauces, freeze-dried foods, sodas and instant foods. Sodium glutamate, potassium sorbate, sodium benzoate, ammonium lactate, sodium citrate, potassium phosphate, potassium sulfite, and many others. These all are salts that are used as preservatives, colorants, color fixers, acidity regulators, deformers, flour improvers, emulsifiers, etc. Most of them are water soluble and retain water in the body, even though they don't taste salty at all. The more of them you have in your diet, the more swelling of tissues will be occurred. The next one is neck osteochondrosis. What does it do? It do neck muscle spasm. They squeeze the blood vessels going to and importantly from the head. This can lead to a whole heap of problems, from impaired vision at the end of the day and headaches in the evenings to a swollen face in the mornings. Treatment and preventive exercises can help, and we all need them. Almost all of us have neck osteochondrosis on different stages. Now, check your posture right now with me. It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. But like that. Lack of movement. If you do not move much during the day, the blood flow is poor in some parts of the body. Microcirculation fails. Blood poorly goes through the capillaries of the legs. Legs swell. And then you go to the bed in the evening and all this extra water trapped in your body for a day of inactivity is distributed throughout the tissues and goes everywhere, including the face. If you do short warm-ups and exercises in the morning and evening for at least 10 or 15 minutes, swelling will bother you much less. Muscle movement squeezes veins and capillaries and pushes blood forward through them, which improves tissue supply and reduces swelling. It is curious, but almost all cortisol detox programs include quitting alcohol and smoking, reducing snacks and ultra-processed foods, movement, and of course, working on your stress, reducing screen time, some meditation, and improving sleep routine. Even if your cortisol is not really changed by these interventions, your face, your weight, anxiety, and mental state will indeed be improved. If cortisol detox is leading you down this path, most likely it will only do you good, even if it's using cortisol only to attract your attention, which may have nothing to do with it. But if you have to eat some supplements at certain times and in certain amounts, that's questionable. So far, the data on small changes in cortisol levels in generally healthy people are so few that it's impossible to say that magnesium, omega-3 or birch bark definitely will help. Many researchers come to the idea that measuring cortisol levels in a healthy person is useless because it changes a lot during the day, and this is how it works. On the background of such natural spikes, it is unclear whether these spikes are self-induced or due to the fact that you gave the person something like magnesium, a vitamin, or a kick. Is it stress? Yes, it is. If you want to reduce the level of stress in your life and to know what happens with your body when you are stressed, subscribe to the channel and I will tell you all about this in the next videos. This season, it is fashionable to speculate about people's adrenal glands, that they are lazy, that they are inactivated, that you have a cortisol face at least. It's very convenient because an ordinary person never thinks about his adrenal glands. It's an unpopular organ covered by the darkness of mystery. But why do you think people don't talk about them so often? Because disorders of adrenal glands are much less common than high cholesterol, high blood pressure, heart problems, overeating or depression. Maybe next year the internet will find another neglected organ and promote you to optimize your spleen or boost your pineal gland. We'll see. In the meantime, I wish you not to swell, lead a healthy and happy life, and spend less time online. I wish you kindness, peace of mind, and quality information. See you in the next videos.